You won't believe what some people inherit. In the fourth season of this groundbreaking reality show from Fox Business, there are bizarre artifacts and outrageous stories, all part of someone's strange inheritance. And Jamie Colby is the host of the program, which is ready to launch another season. Good morning, Jamie.
Hey, Bill, how are you?
Wonderful. I'm hoping that I inherit something.
Got anything in your attic I need to know about?
I'm hoping someday I'll get something big. But, I mean, we're talking people they'll inherit something, and sometimes they inherit things maybe their loved ones didn't even know they had. Is that true?
Well, in the particular case of our premiere episode last night, there were three brothers in New Jersey who actually had some stuff. Their mom left some silver. Their grandfather left them some paintings. They didn't really think anything of it, but it turned out that one of the paintings even didn't get recognized by a top auctioneer that they brought it to in New Jersey. He said it wasn't a very pretty painting. He called it unremarkable, but it ended up being a long-lost Rembrandt.
Wow.
That sold for $1.1 million when they expected $500 at auction, and then ultimately resold to a Rembrandt collector for an estimated $4 million.
Wow.
But not all of our inheritances are that valuable. Sometimes they're just historically valuable. Like tonight, we are running a second night of premiere episodes, and then every Monday after, we have an unbelievable historic firearms collection from a guy named Rudy Marek, and gun collectors will know his name because he was a top engraver for the Colt company. He really was an artist. But what he was able to do for any gun he couldn't buy or collect from any battle that our nation was involved in, because his goal was to have the complete history of our nation's conflict, he could make with incredible accuracy, whether he studied it in a book or went to the Smithsonian to see it. So three brothers inherited that gun collection, and they didn't really want to part, interestingly, with the ones their father made, because the artistry and the thought and time that went into it, even though he spent so much time creating their inheritance when they were kids, didn't go to their baseball games, didn't really care what they were doing at school. He was obsessed. A lot of our people are obsessed.
Yeah.
But their gain is our gain. But in this particular case, they really lost a relationship with their father that they're learning through their inheritance. They're starting to realize how talented he was and how lucky they were to have had him for their father. But it wasn't always easy.
It's funny, too, because in a lot of cases, the inheritances can be a really big responsibility. So especially if that person was maybe a pack rat, you got to go in, they got to clean out the house. I wonder how often someone inherits a property and they end up throwing stuff out that could end up being, think of the value that might have already been thrown out.
We've seen that where things are about to go to the Salvation Army, for example, and then we had a husband that snuck out a painting that his wife couldn't stand. She thought it was so ugly, and he was ordered to take it to the Salvation Army because they were downsizing, but he said, let me just see maybe what it is. It now hangs in the Texas State House. It is a painting of the Battle of San Jacinto. Oh, no, that particular one is in Arizona with a collector. Both of those were ones that the family was about to discard.
Yeah.
But talk about a big responsibility. I love this man I had the chance to meet. His name is Dave Stowovi. It's our second episode tonight at 9 and 9:30. He inherited a whole town. It was a company town, one of 2,000 our country had. I didn't even know these exist.
I didn't either. No.
Maybe you guys did. Companies would come into a town, mostly like in the coal industry, and people would get off the train with their kids. They'd move right into the little houses on the company's property. The kids would go to the one-room schoolhouse and shop in the company store. They were basically a captive audience of employees who couldn't really call in sick because the whole neighborhood would know if they really were. And his father wanted to buy one of these little houses years ago and ended up buying the whole town for $10,000. It's the most beautiful property you can imagine in Pennsylvania, surrounded by a magnificent lake, very lush. You know, you can see the stars. It's just a beautiful way to live. But he told the broker, although I want $1.5 million of the property, I will not evict the people who have leases to live there. You will have to take it until they live out their lease. At least give them a year.
Yeah. Wow.
So as hard as it is to sell a whole town.
Yeah.
And as big a responsibility as it's been for him, he's a retired school teacher who now is not only like the honorary mayor and mailman, he's also got to fix the faucets, the lights, the power lines.
Wow,
but he's taken it on because he said this was something my dad bought, and it's such a privilege to be the executor that I have to do the right thing.
Yeah, he's the
That's
landlord and the DPW. He's like the town's DPW.
The person who owns a mobile home park. But this is a town, a full town. That's really...
And it's beautiful, but the homes only recently got interior plumbing, you can imagine.
Oh.
They had outhouses.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
But there's a lot of people, really lovely older couples and people with small children on fixed income.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful, really idyllic setting for them to live there because it's a real community.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what happens with that. But a lot of these people write me. We did 26 news stories, half-hour episodes each of families this year, our 4th season. We just finished 100 shows. And I love hearing from these families because what are the chances I would get to go to Reduction, Pennsylvania and see a company town?
Can you just share, I know you got to go, but just quickly, somebody was left a B-17 bomber.
That I got to fly?
Oh, that's wild.
Did you? Wow.
Literally, yes. Yeah, that people leave the strangest, darndest things. And I've had the experience of riding John Deere tractors, someone who inherited 150 tractors, and there's an insect museum in Colorado Springs we visited in season 1 that ends up being worth $2 million. Who knew bugs could be so valuable?
Yeah.
People really need to check their attics, their basements, and take what they have a little more seriously. But more important, as an attorney, I was asked on the air yesterday, what's your advice to people about inheritances? I'm shocked at how many families don't have the discussion until they pass.
Yeah.
And the kids have to scramble not only to find out what do I have and what it's worth, but what did my loved one really want me to do with it? Because they all seem to be bogged down with doing the right thing. And I love that about the people we meet. These are good, solid Americans.
Well, listen, 4th season is underway, and night 2 of your launch is tonight, 9 o'clock on Fox Business. Jamie Colby, the program is Strange Inheritance, well worth watching. Jamie, thanks so much for taking the time.
Oh, thank you, and so nice to talk to you both.
Okay.
Take care.
All right, thanks so much.